Hey guys, and welcome to the Comics Best of 2010 show. Yes, so now that Christmas is over and we are looking for a new year, Richard and I decided to go back and look at what was the best and what was the worst in comics of 2010. Also, what we're most looking forward to in 2011.
So Carter and I, we grabbed all the different books that we read this year, organized all our favorites into different categories from best writer to best series, stuff like that. Kind of an award show, if you will. Except we don't have statues for the writers and artists and stuff, so I apologize.
Best writer. In my opinion, the best writer of 2010 is Mr. Greg Pak. He's the current writer of the Incredible Hulk series. A lot of his issues involve like a lot of characters together. This one has all of the Hulks in it, and if you don't know, there are a lot now. The way he makes each one shine without like ignoring any characters, and just the way he has all of them interacting with all of each other, it's just, I don't know, he's a great writer. Like, in my mind, when I read what these characters are saying, I think this is what these characters would actually be saying to each other. These are the conversations they'd be having if they were real in real life. And so great job, Greg Pak. You're my favorite writer of 2010.
Now, my favorite writer of 2010, this is a kind of a biased answer because he's my favorite writer of all time. Regardless, he's impressed me with all the work he's done this year, issue after issue, and that's Mr. Grant Morrison. The guy's just impressed me with, this big story he was telling with Batman. Honestly, he's written some of the most unique and interesting Batman work that I've seen in a very long time, As much as I like the dark, brooding, Frank Miller-ish Batman, it's definitely time for a change. This is the new Batman of new generation, and I'm really excited to see what happens next.
Let's move on to Best Artist. Now, I'm going to combine this category with Best Single Comic Issue, because one of my I have my favorite comic book issue of 2010 right here, and it happens to be drawn by my favorite artist of this year and of all time, and so I'm going to do a combination. Hulk 24 with artist Ed McGuinness. Look at this art. I mean, do you see that cover? This is the conclusion to the story that Jeff Loeb has been writing since 2008. This is the final showdown between the Green Hulk and the Red Hulk, and if you've been following this series, this was a terrific ending. I can't stop talking about the art because I love the art. Look at some of these shots. See that? Right there. There's a good one. She-Hulk, right there. Red Hulk. Look at that. I mean, doesn't it just seem like a movie? Like it's just coming straight out of a movie? And then there's a good one of Hulk. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. That is my favorite comic book of 2010. And Ed McGuinness, you are my favorite artist of 2010 of all time.
There's one particular artist with one particular series that's really, really impressed me this year. He's got me hooked, and that's Mr. Rafael Albuquerque. His work on American Vampire is just so stunning, and he's so versatile. With just a slight change of his art, he can make he can give a completely different feeling to a completely different story in one book, and I love it. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have even started reading the Superboy series. I mean, look at this cover. This is probably one of the best covers that come out of DC in a very long time. It's iconic, and I've actually enjoyed the series so far, so, hey, that's a bonus. Now, my single best comic book issue this year, and it's the most talked about at DC when it came out, is Batman and Robin number 16 by Grant Morrison and all these different artists. I don't know if I reviewed this, I can't remember. Definitely groundbreaking. It's a great finale, and so many people were talking about the ending of this book, the whole, Bruce Wayne has been financing Batman for a very long time thing. A lot of people were pissed off about that, at least from what I've seen. But I thought it was a great ending, just completely changed the game with Batman, and it's a game changer that I think was needed for the character.
Let's move on to worst single comic book of 2010. I'm not known to really branch out into new series and stuff because I read a lot of reviews of comics before I get them, and so I have a set of comic books that I read because I know they're usually always good, but every now and then one of those series just gets a bad comic. My worst comic of 2010 was one I actually reviewed. It's Avengers number 7. A bad case of writing and a bad case of art. Overall, I don't like it.
Similar to what Carter was saying with his pick with the Avengers, whenever you have a series that you love, at one point there's going to be an issue that's just terrible. And when Grant Morrison left Batman and Robin, the writer and artist that was supposed to take over were Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, but they're busy on Brightest Day, and so Paul Cornell, one of the new guys at DC, and artist Scott McDaniel was like, you know what? While you're gone, we're gonna keep this book alive, just for now. And so their storyline started with this first issue, and then continued to this issue, and I hate it. Scott McDaniel can't draw for crap. And as much as I enjoy Paul Cornell's writing and other stuff I read of his this year, terrible story. I don't care about these characters at all. I was so disappointed with these storylines. And now I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt because it was a rushed into thing. Still, you know, sometimes even rushed comics can be halfway decent.
Okay, well here's probably the biggest one, best series of 2010, but here's a hint. Captain America by Ed Brubaker. Captain America is a superhero that before I read him, I always thought to be one of the most boring superheroes there are. Some guy who fought the Nazis in World War II, kind of just read about that people like that in history. But then I actually picked up the first issue that Ed Brubaker wrote. My mind was blown. An amazing writer. The things are very suspenseful. It feels like kind of like a murder mystery type movie when I'm reading them. Wow, if you are not reading his series, please do. It's great. I mean, it's pretty far into it by now, but even if you don't feel like going all the way back and catching up, just pick one up and you'll catch up eventually. You'll figure it out. It's a really, 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 really good series. And so definitely check it out. It's my favorite series of 2010.
The best series is a big award. It's a big award indeed. I decided the best whole series of 2010, in my opinion, at DC Comics is, in fact, American Vampire. It's just a fantastic series with great writing. Scott Snyder is just, he's one of the new kids on the block, but he's quickly going to become a comic book legend. Storylines, it's gone through 2 arcs already, and both arcs are just top-notch great. But yes, definitely best series of 2010 in my opinion that I've ever read. Good job, you guys.
Now for our last category, the most anticipated comic of 2011. For me, the most anticipated series of 2010 is Thunder Agents, which is DC, which is new to me. So, and Richard actually introduced it to me, and I thank him very much for doing it because it's only 2 issues are out, and I love it. I'm hooked. And so it's going to continue on throughout 2011, so now is the time to catch up, so please do if you're not reading it. It's a good series. But my most anticipated single comic of 2010 is the next issue of Fantastic Four, because it is the last issue of Fantastic Four, because someone's going to die. My money's on Human Torch. The writing in that series has been so good, so I don't see this as a gimmick. I see this as an actual new change of pace for the series. I don't think this person's gonna come back in 2 issues.
Now, as far as 2011 goes, there's a lot of stuff I'm excited about, but the one particular thing I'm extremely excited about is the continuation of Batman Incorporated. The first arc is done with these first 2 issues, and there's now a Batman in Japan. And Batman's going to Argentina in February when that issue comes out, at least from last time I checked at DC.com. I absolutely love the series so far. Grant Morrison still impressed me even after he's done with his Batman epic. Owen Carter, you're welcome, man.
So yeah, I know this has been kind of a long video, but I hope y'all have a great 2011, and we will see you with new videos throughout the new year. Bye!